wanted Mr. Dewar today. He was telling me all about this new program and how I was doing. He gave me the assignment, and it was all independent study, and he said I could do it whenever I felt like it.
Frankly, when I first learned we were coming to Yokota Air Force Base, Japan, and my daughter was going to spend her last year in high school and school in Japan, we were literally scared. You see, Laura has had problems in school before, and especially this past year she's been losing interest in school. Eloise and I were quite concerned at the thought of what another school would do to her.
Well, here we go again. Another school year. Now they're going to tell me this one will be different. But it won't be. They're all the same.
Everything's going to go all right.
I never wanted to come to Japan. Maybe it's because I don't want to do anything. Especially go to school over here.
Oh, really? Oh, I think that's a nice thing.
I'm interested. What do you do to register?
Fill out those two forms. You can walk out to fill. When you finish, please go to the counter.
Okay.
What are your interests in school, your main interests?
Nothing particularly.
Do you have any interests besides your academic work, band, music, anything like this?
I like music.
Music? What'd you play?
Piano.
Piano? We can always use a pianist around here. Are you familiar with the modular scheduling system? No.
School has always been a drag to me. Oh, I can get my work done, mostly just to please my parents. My school days have always been the same, boring. Bells ringing, getting passes signed, memorizing facts, taking tests, and waiting for the bell to ring so I can get out. I have never been able to understand my teachers. To tell you the truth, there's only been a few I've even liked. What's wrong, Laura? Don't you like my class? You'd better do your work or you won't amount to anything in life. I'm going to call your parents. Why don't they understand that kids have feelings like anybody else?
It doesn't look like a study hall.
This isn't a study hall, you know. It's a research center where on people's unscheduled time they come in and talk with their friends, and if they want to, they can study in the various carrels or on the playground and talk with the teachers if they want. It seems strange to see kids working by themselves without a teacher around. In every school I ever attended, when the teacher leaves the room, everyone stops working. This is a chemistry lab. This has been pretty standard.
Now, you won't really meet as a class. What you will do is read the book and then go to the instructor who recommended it and discuss that book with the person. When you've done that, then you receive the amount of points that book is worth. When you've received 50 points, or about 10 books worth of reading, you will get an A for 9 weeks.
What was that? So it's an independent study program where you have to read 10 books for a possible of 50 points to get an A. And then after each book you read, you just go to the teacher and review the book. Is that it? This place is hard to believe.
A few days after Laura registered for school, we met Mr. Ellis, the school principal. He was the first principal I had had a conference with since my daughter left the 4th grade.
They work with one another and help one another out. Secondly, we find that our teachers are interested in the program and are friendly and interested in individual students. We also have an extensive counseling program. You'll become a part of that program at the end of 9 weeks when we have our parental conferences. At that time, we'll give you this folder and explain to you more about Laura's educational future.
You've got a lot of unscheduled time here, about half of it, so we're going to trust you to use this for your independent reading and other studies. Now, if you ever need any help, I want you to come in and see me, because our door is always open.
Thank you.
What can do for you, Don?
Well, what I wanted to talk to you about was the new student, Laura Lovelace, that you fellows have in the humanities class. She's got a poor attitude towards school, for one thing. She's turned off, and she's an underachiever. She's a very sharp girl, according to her papers and so forth. Do you think that you can draw her out to her full potential in that humanities class?
Well, we've got a basically very unstructured program. You know, we're meeting on the stage. We're just kind of...
I like the idea of having more than one teacher in the same class. If one teacher doesn't understand you, maybe the other one will.
So we could center the discussion more or less around him, but of course involving other kids. And perhaps if she sees a free give and take, she'll perhaps feel moved into, more like moving into the discussion.
I don't know. She's basically a shy girl. Basically, shy people don't like to be challenged in a large group. And I think the best tack would be to get her in smaller groups in the resource centers as soon as she becomes familiar with a couple of students, or get her in her office. I think that's how.
But unless you struggle with an idea, unless you really, really work at it, ask a lot of questions, get some answers, maybe you have to even admit sometimes that you're wrong. Unless you do this, you're never going to know yourself or even learn. What's learning?
Well, I don't like to ask too many questions. I don't know many people in the class. I don't know their reactions or anything. It's kind of shy.
Well, you say you don't like to ask questions. What are you doing here now?
Well, I don't feel threatened here.
Well, there's learning going on, for example, all over the school, isn't there? Resource centers, out in the hallways, campus, I mean, the trees, whatever. Kids are asking a lot of questions, and they're getting a lot of answers. I'm sure you would have. Sometimes you don't hear the right things. Sometimes you have to say to yourself, well, I'm wrong. But the idea, and I think the really important thing, is not that you don't ask questions in class. That'll come. But if you start asking questions now, start getting ideas, I think you're going to find yourself being drawn in.
And at school today when I was talking to Mr. Brewer, and he was telling me all about this new program and everything, and he gave me the assignment and independent study, and I do it all on my own time, and just everything to whenever I could do it, and they trust me. He really trusts me here, and it's kind of hard to explain what I mean, but when you think of school as something you do yourself because it's important to you, everything changes. You can't depend on teachers or parents to make you study or learn. It just doesn't work. If you don't do it for yourself, you just don't really accomplish anything.
I'd like you to compare the way you live here and this small community of the Bay with how these people in the film live and how they act. And think about the way when you go into Tokyo and you never speak to anybody on the street. Thousands of people. Okay, you don't know them, but you don't even smile at them. Right? They think you're crazy. Okay. Well, think about this. In a small town on the Bay, you see people all the time you know. You're saying hello. You're waving at them. They know you by name. At least they smile at you, right?
Well, in just a very short time, we could see the change in Laura's attitude and behavior. As soon as she fully realized that people at the school liked her and trusted her and expected her to be responsible for directing her own learning, she began to feel differently towards this school than any other she had ever encountered. I became curious about the school. As I walked around, I saw that the teachers took special efforts with each and every student.